right, everybody, so I'm going to do a small project today. It's cold, so I don't want something that's going to take very long, but I think this will be an interesting angle for you to see what's going on here. So when I bought this, I noticed the kickstand is kind of warped. You can see this leg closest seems like it's okay, but the one on the other side is somewhat bent, and that poses a little bit of a problem for me because I don't feel like it's holding up the scooter correctly. Like, for example, like the front tire is still making full contact, and so is the back tire. So I mean, it's keeping it from tipping over, and that's fine. I don't know if it's supposed to raise it up or not on this model. That's not my primary concern. My other concern is just that because of that weird torque in this kickstand here, because the other side is bent, it makes it really hard to get it on and off of the kickstand. So you can see this is just way too far forward. This might be a better visual from the other. You can kind of compare here. What I did was I picked up this reinforced version of a kickstand here, and you can see it's got these extra little bars. Now you have to be careful. I think if you have an aftermarket exhaust or something, you'll see that from under here, there's not a ton of clearance. It looks like, oh, the exhaust is here, but actually that pipe comes way back. It should be in far enough where we're not gonna have any problems under here. So, but it's just something to be aware of. If you've got some kind of different muffler or exhaust system here where there's a big sweeping pipe underneath, you may not be able to run this because of that bracket. You might need the clearance. So the first thing I have to figure out how to do, though, I have this motorcycle lift, and it doesn't really play nice with this P200 because, like we're talking about, this exhaust is right here. It swoops right underneath everything. So as much as I'd love to put this under here, I can't really pick it up by the exhaust, obviously. I don't want to squish, I don't want to put the whole weight of the scooter on this muffler. So I'm going to have to figure out, let me take a look on this side. Is there any way, well, this thing is rusty. I don't want to have to take the muffler off just to work on it. And once I get it off, I think we'll really be able to see just how bent this is. Now, I could pull it off and bend it back, but the point is, if it bent once, it's likely to bend again. And so I'm gonna have to get that sorted. Okay, let me figure out how to get this lifted up. All right, so I ended up using this not quite in the way I expected. Rather than do something under here that I was unsure about, and then the jack and all of the supports would be in the way of all of the pieces that I need, because I'm gonna have to get to these brackets, which obviously hold the kickstand on. So there's 4 bolts here through the floorboard that I'm gonna have to get to. This spring, I'm gonna have to make sure I have access to manipulate and unhook that. And also back there, what I did was I just put a piece of wood, up to the ramp like this. This is all the way down, this floor jack, and I just backed up onto it, and it fits nicely in this space here. This is from Harbor Freight Tools. It's their, I guess, least expensive motorcycle lift. And that gives me just enough back here where I can throw a couple of jack stands under the body. And now I've got full access to work on everything, and it's nice and stable. So I think that's the plan. I've been thinking about my order of operations here. Should I loosen these bolts, take the nuts off these bolts and kind of let this drop down? But it's got tension, even though the kickstand is back. And this is you know, as far back as it goes, it's still under tension to kind of hold it in place, obviously. Rather than trying to deal with that spring, I'm gonna get something to hold that top of that. But I'm just gonna loosen these under here. I think what I'm gonna do is get these back ones loose all the way. I don't know if you can see that really well. All right, of course there is. Typical Vespa style, there's a washer, a lock washer. All right, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do the same on the other side. Then I'm gonna come around and do the front ones. If I take a little pressure off of that. All right. Oh boy. Okay, that's not quite what I had in mind, but as long as I don't lose all my... Oh, something just went down my shirt. Okay, that's what I was expecting. Okay. There we go. One way to do it. Get these brackets out of the way, and then I should be able to much more easily manipulate this out of here. Or not. Let me put this on the ground, and you can see just how bent it is. Look at, I can put my whole hand under on this side, and you can see this side is touching. So it's up by quite a bit. Let's grab the new one out of the package. Information on Scooter Mercato said that not only is this a reinforced with these buttress or whatever this is here, this angle piece, but it says it's also a thicker pipe, and you have to buy a different bracket. So let's find out just how true that is. And it comes with these feet, presumably because if the thing is bigger diameter, then these feet, the standard feet, also won't fit, etc., etc. So I'll get the feet on, and then we can start reassembly. Just push those feet on. If they're giving you trouble, you can just get a little bit of slightly soapy water, or heck, even water, and they'll probably help you slide these on. And then I just banged them on like this. You can hear when they're on solid. The other thing I'm gonna have to do, as you can see here, is transfer this bumper, piece of rubber here. Squeeze this and get it out, push it through the other side, hopefully without damaging it too much, and then I'll move it onto this one. All right, got that piece off without damaging it, which is good. I just took a screwdriver and kind of gently pressed around the edge until I was able to push this through. And you can see it's not too badly damaged, so now we'll just put that in. So let me just get a little soapy water. I'll be right back. In thinking about my strategy, I was trying to decide, again, my order of operations with the spring. Now, to not fight with this too much, what I end up doing is connecting the spring to the front, connecting it to the back here, and that way I'll have a lot more leverage when dealing with this. Okay, what I did was I pulled this forward and secured it with a slightly longer bolt. Now that it's in place on this side, that will allow me to kind of wrestle with this and get this put back into position. You can see the bolts here. So I'm going to grab my bracket, make sure it's facing the right way, and now that one side is on, I should be able to just get the other side to cooperate a lot easier. I'm also got a handful of, there we go. There we go. I'm gonna go around on the other side, sort that. Just gonna work side to side here, correcting the hardware. So now that this is oriented properly, I should be able to get this. This should almost naturally fall right in the correct spot now. Well, hallelujah. I think that's all correct. Now, where are we? Before I go too nuts tightening this though, I do want to confirm no there, I guess. You just tighten up. Oop. I was afraid of that. These brackets are so tight that it actually doesn't move. That works. Yeah. If I tighten these down all the way, I feel like this isn't gonna, I mean, I suppose I could have thrown a little grease in there. Look at that. No, it's important that this gets up out of your way. It's a safety thing. I guess I'm gonna have to widen those brackets. Let me see what I do here. So, I want to show you how I'm solving this problem. The challenge I'm having is, because of the extra diameter of this pipe here, these brackets are bigger, yes, but they're too tight up against the body so that when you tighten the bracket down, this doesn't move properly. What happens is you can get it down with force and then it like stays and doesn't spring backwards. So what I'm gonna do, how I'm gonna solve this is, and I already did this on the other side, I'm gonna shim it with not one, but two small washers between the body and the bracket, right? So to create a little bit of a gap here, like this. Well, you get the idea. And so that there'll be a little more space here. Now, it's definitely gonna be easier on this side. And with one side already on, you can see I'm just gonna take the screws right here, put those on, and then I can put the bracket on. It's a little tricky, but if you're doing work like this, I'm sure you're used to this and then some. As soon as I get this one in, it's gonna get a little easier. There we go. I have those in the wrong order, but I think that'll be all right. Okay, now we'll do the same on the other side. I've got two washers here. I also have a screwdriver here, and I just kind of looked from the top as I slid these into place. You can see, you can see the washers, and then I just used a small screwdriver to kind of get them in the right position. There's one. Just want to make sure they're both on there. Ooh. Now, if that's correct, I should be able to just put this through. And I'll just take a look from underneath and confirm that there's two. Can you see that? I don't even know if you can see in there. Now you can see I've got my two washers shimmed underneath. And then I'm just gonna collapse this up, tighten everything up, and we'll have a little gap there. Right now, I'll have an opportunity to tighten it all the way around and see if these washers have given me enough space. There's resistance there, look. There's still resistance, look at. Yeah, the brackets are just too snug. There's plenty of room there for this. I can see it with my eye. It's the bracket. It's not hitting the bottom of the floorboard. It's the bracket. They said you need to buy these bigger brackets, which is true, but even these bigger brackets aren't right. Oh my God, it's even so hard to get down. Never mind. I don't know what else I could do here. No, these brackets are just too small still for this bigger diameter. Well, in good news, it doesn't hit any of my exhaust, which is great. There's plenty of room here, actually, for the stock exhaust anyway. And let's see if it's any sturdier. Like I said, I'm just gonna live it with like that. I'm not going to mess with it anymore. I've been down here for hours already trying to compensate for what is really a manufacturing problem. I guess I could put the old one back on and return all this, but I still think even with this problem, this is gonna be a better setup for me. Let's just find out. Okay, let's see. Aha, now look at this. What I was expecting is this. See? Heck, I can get my whole hand under there. Where before, on the old kickstand, I was saying the front tire is still touching, and I don't know why. So, all things considered, even with the fact that it's very stiff, and I shimmed it to give it some space, and it's still that stiff. It's really just the brackets. It's still the improvement I was looking for, which is kind of really hold this up. And it feels a lot more positive getting it on and off. The kickstand, where before I was really having to like muscle it. It's definitely, oh, did it go back correctly? Oh, what do you know, it did. I was really having to muscle it because it was so unaligned. Wow, that's much easier to handle. So I'm pleased with it, for sure. And it gets the front up off, which is nice. And, yeah, interestingly, it comes up okay on its own, even though it was stiff like that. So if I throw a little, oh, it's so much easier to get on and off the kickstand though. Wow. I really used to have to fight it. So that little bit of difference in the height and the sort of stability of the geometry of those two legs was making a substantial difference, because the old one's not any smaller than this, but you can see that it's making a substantial difference on how much space before the front tire was touching. Now it's clearly not. So That is good. Really good. I'm pleased with it. I guess I should have thrown some grease on there before I did it. I didn't think I was gonna have to. I could always hit it with a little WD-40 or something, but I don't know how much that's gonna make a difference. Seems to be working okay. So, boy, I'm actually surprised at how happy I am with that. I thought that was not gonna work at all. It's actually going up pretty nicely. Oh, it's way easier to use. Wow. Cool. Anyway, thanks for hanging in with me. That was a much longer project than it needed to be. But like I said, the brackets that come with that kit, the space in here, even though they're bigger brackets, they're still just too small. And it does look like these had some grease in there. I should have greased them. I think it'll be all right. Anyway, I hope that was helpful. That was the upgraded kit. I got it from Scooter Mercato. I did buy the upgraded brackets and a new spring. It won't take long, but I think you are going to have to shim underneath like I did. And even then it's gonna be stiff, but it still seems to be functioning fine. I just did it a few times and you got to see it move. So anyway, hope that was helpful for someone. Thanks for watching.